Hello Gretchen, how are you? Today we are going to have our final revision about the exam, so I hope you pay attention and focus with me. For the grammar of Unit 7, we will start with reviewing should and shouldn't. Of course, we use should and shouldn't for showing the advice. After should and shouldn't, we use infinitive like you should do exercise, you shouldn't stay up late, and so on. We have these words that equals should, or they are called alternatives of should, like you ought to, if I were you I would, I advise you to, my advice to you is to, you had better, it is better to, it is advisable for you to, and it is desirable for you to. All of these equals should. For shouldn't, we have you ought not to, if I were you I wouldn't, I advise you not to, my advice to you is not to not, is not to, you had better not, it is better not to, it is unadvisable for you to, it is undesirable for you to. Let's move to the modal verbs. We use should have past participle and ought not to have past participle to show regret or blaming, like you shouldn't have wasted your time, sorry, I ought to have come on time. For obligation and necessity, we use must and mustn't, like you must fasten your seat belt when driving. This is for rules. I must work hard for the exams next week. This is personal obligation. Or I must buy a present for my mother. This is strong feelings. You must come to my party tonight. This is invitation. You mustn't eat that cheese, it is green. You must stop smoking. This is strong advice as well. You must buy souvenirs for our we must buy souvenirs for our friends here. So this is remembering something. We also can replace must with these words. It is necessary, it is a necessity, it is a must, it is obligatory, it is legal. And after all of them, 4 plus subject plus now to and infinitive. And for mustn't, we also can use it is not allowed to, it is not permitted to, it is forbidden to, it is prohibited to, it is banned to, it is against the law to, and it is illegal to. And all of this comes after them infinitive. For necessity and lack of necessity, we can use in the present, in the past, and in the future. In the present, we can use must plus infinitive, and it equals have to and has to plus infinitive, need to and needs to plus infinitive. So it depends on the subject. Needs to singular, has to singular. For the negative, we use don't have to, doesn't have to, don't need to, doesn't need to, needn't, infinitive. Pay attention, needn't, directly infinitive. There is no need to use to. For the past, we use had to plus infinitive, and the negative didn't have to. For have to and has to, the past is had to, and as well didn't have to. Needed to, didn't need to, and needn't have, and the past participle. For the future, must plus infinitive, or will have to, will not have to, will need to, will not need to. Now let's move to the grammar of Unit 8, which is using if and its alternatives. We have 4 conditionals. We have 0, first, second, and third. For the 0 conditionals, it expresses facts, scientific facts, like if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. So for the 0 conditional, we use if present simple, present simple. If you heat water, it boils. For the first conditional, it expresses things that can happen or probable to happen. For example, if you study hard, you will succeed in the exam. If you do exercise, you can get fit. So we can use if present simple, will, infinitive, or can, or may, or should for the infinitive. For the second conditional, it consists of if past simple, then would or could or might, then infinitive, and it shows advice or imagination. Like, if I had $1 million, I would buy a villa. If I were you, I would uh, buy this house. For the third conditional, we use if past perfect, which is had plus past participle, and the next part is would have or could have or might have, and the past participle. So it shows regret. I can say, if I had studied hard, I would have succeeded. That means I didn't study hard. For the alternatives, we can use when, in case, as long as, on condition that, supposing that, providing that, provided that, and imagine that. All of these equals if. For the negative, we can use unless, and unless equals if not. For example, unless you help me, I can't do the task. Also, we can use without but for if it weren't for, and after the three we use noun plus or verb plus ing. For example, without your help, I can't complete the task. We have some conditions that we can use. We can remove if, like here. For the first conditional, if Toa studies hard, she would succeed. In this case, we can use should. Should Toa study hard, she will succeed. In the second conditional, we can remove if and use in front of it, instead of it, where. If I were you, I would help poor people. So I can say, where are you, I would help poor people. Also, we can remove if and use had, like if I had much money, I would buy a car. Had I much money, I would buy a car. If we have were here as a main verb, we can use should plus infinitive instead of it. Like, if Toa studied hard, she would succeed. Should Toa study hard, she would succeed. We can also use where plus subject plus to infinitive if we have another verb instead of where. If Toa studied hard, she would succeed. So I can say, were Toa to study hard, she would succeed. In the third conditional if, we can use had plus subject plus past participle instead of if. Like, if Toa had left earlier, she wouldn't have missed the train. I can say, had Toa left earlier, she wouldn't have missed the train. For Unit 9, of course, we have the difference between using past perfect and past simple. For the past perfect, we call it the earlier past. So if we have two actions happen in the past, the first one is past perfect and the second one is past simple. What is the formation of past perfect? It is, of course, had plus past participle, and for the passive, had been plus past participle. For the keywords after, as soon as, because, as, since, when, and after that, all of these comes after them past perfect as the first action, then past simple as the second action. Like, after he had read the novel, he watched TV. So what did he do first? He read the novel, then he watched TV. Or we can use after then ing in case there is no subject, like after reading the novel, he watched TV. We can also change it to using having plus past participle, like having arrested the thief, the police took him to prison. Or we can use it in passive, like having been arrested, the thief was taken to prison. For the other part, we use before, by the time, after that, and when. After them, past simple, then past perfect. Like before he watched TV, he had read the novel. Or we can use before then ing, like before watching TV, he had read the novel. There is no subject here. For 10 and until, we use before them past simple negative as didn't plus infinitive or wasn't or weren't, and after them of course had and past participle, which is past perfect. Like he didn't watch TV until he had read the novel, or we can use until then ing if we don't have a subject, like he didn't watch TV until reading the novel. For the other words no sooner, hardly, and scarcely, we can use them in the beginning of the sentence and in the middle. So if we use them in the middle, of course we will use before them subject, then had, then no sooner, hardly, and scarcely, then the past participle. After them, no sooner than, hardly, and scarcely, when, then the past simple. Like we had no sooner finished painting our new house than we moved into it. What if we want to start with them? So we change. If we start with no sooner, after it we will use had, then the subject, so we switch, then the past participle. Like no sooner had we finished painting our house than we moved to it. For using by and until, we can use with them year in the past, then the past perfect. Like by 2020 the project had been completed. For I wish, I would rather, or it was time, after all of them we use subject, then had, and the past participle, then any keyword for the past. Like here, I wish I had worked harder last year. That means I didn't work hard. We have some words that we can use past perfect with the words of the past, the present perfect, like these words, just, already, ever, never, for, since. Of course we know we use them in the present perfect, but we can use them with the past perfect as well. Like when we arrived the film had already started. So here we use the past perfect. I met May. I hadn't met her since 2020. We can also use past simple, past perfect simple, if there is no part using the there is no part using long time between the past. Like after I saw the criminal, I called the police. Here there is no long period between the two actions, they happen directly after each other. For the present perfect continuous, of course it consists of had plus been plus ing, and it shows the duration of the action for a period of time. And for the passive we use had been plus past participle. For the past perfect continuous we have some keywords that show them, like all, for, and since. Like in the examples, after he had been studying all day, he slept. He was tired because he had been working in the farm all day. When we visited my cousins in Canada, they had been living there for 6 months. He was covered in paint. He had been painting the room since we left. We have some cases that we don't use the past perfect continuous, like with the following verbs: know, believe, owe, want, understand, wish, like, dislike, love, hate, prefer, enjoy. We call them stative verbs. Like here, we were good friends. We had known each other for 10 years. Also, with these verbs that don't take long time, we don't use past perfect continuous, like break down, stop, close, open, and finish. Like here, she was late for the meeting because her car had broken down. Or when I met Ali, he had finished typing 3 reports. For the past simple, it shows actions that happened and finished in the past. And we have the verbs like regular verbs, watched, visited, the end in ed, and the irregular, they are totally different, like went and so. For the negative, of course, we use didn't plus infinitive. And for the question, did plus subject plus infinitive. And for the passive, we use was or were plus the past participle. For the keywords, we use yesterday, last, ago in the past, in plus year in previous year, like in 2020, for example, once or one day, how long ago, did, just now, the other day. Like for the example, we were in Alexandria 2 months ago. I was busy doing my homework yesterday. For here, I wish, it is time, I would rather. After them, we use the subject, then the past participle, the past simple. I would rather Ali visited Paris. That means he didn't visit Paris. Or it's time they went home from school. Also, these keywords, we can use them in the past simple as we use them in the past present simple, like always, usually, often, never, sometimes, and so on. Like here, my father always went to work by train when he was young. So that means or shows a past habit. For the grammar of Unit 10, which is using direct speech and indirect speech, so we change from direct into direct. So we should change the verb, the saying verb, and we change the tense from present to past. What are the verbs that we should change? Here, of course, the sentence will start with noun or pronoun, then said, wanted to know, told, asked, and said to. After all of them, we should use that. And said to, we change it to told. What about asked or wanted to know? We can use if or whether because they are questions. Okay. Also, if it's a question and it starts with WH question, we keep the question word like what, where, and so on, and we change it from question into sentence. And if it starts with helping verb like do, does, did, and so on, we use if or whether, then we change it from sentence to from question to sentence. For the words or the keywords that we should change here, like you can see in front of you, yesterday, we change it to the day before, the last day, or the previous day, and of course we will change from past simple to past perfect. For tomorrow, we change it to the following day, the next day, the day after, and we change will to would infinitive. Am, is, are, we change them to was and were going to. For now, we change it to then, and here we change the present continuous from am, is, are to was and were plus ing. Pay attention to the following conditions. In here we don't change the tense, we keep it as it is, like Toa says, I don't believe this story. So Toa says, she doesn't believe this story. We didn't change the tense. For some tenses that shows scientific facts, like here Jana said, if water freezes it changes into ice, so we don't change. Jana said that if water freezes it changes into ice, there is no change in the tense. For these words we don't change the tense. What are they? Now, just now, a moment ago, a minute ago, a short time ago, and recently. Like Ahmed said just now, I have already done my homework. So Ahmed said just now, he has already done his homework, so no change. We kept the present perfect. With these verbs we don't change the tense, like would like, would rather, had better, should, would, could, and might. Like Ahmed said, I would rather work. So Ahmed said that he would rather work. For using F in the first conditional only, we don't change the tense. Like he said to me, if you don't get into hospital you will not get well. So he told me if I didn't get into hospital I wouldn't get well. In case we have wish or if only to show wish or imagining something, we don't change the tense. Like here, he said I wish I traveled abroad. So he said that he wished he traveled abroad. To show use the to for past habits, we don't change the tense. Like Saif said to Jana, I used to cry much when I was young. So here Saif told Jana that he used to cry much when he was young. For also showing no period of time or a long period of time, we don't change that tense. Like here, Saif said to Jana, I will meet you tomorrow. So Saif told Jana that he will meet her tomorrow. Pay attention to changing the verb say. We can change it to other verbs like deny, admit, and suggest. We change or we use with them verb ing. Decide to, promise to, and refuse to. Like here, he denied stealing any money. She admitted doing this crime. He refused to give Adil any money. She decided to give up smoking. For suggest and recommend, we use verb ing, but if it suggests that or recommend that, we use false sentence. Like he suggested going for a walk. He suggested that we go or should go for a walk. For advise, recommend, and allow, we can use both verb ing or to infinitive. Like he advised me to sleep early. She advised having fruits. I recommended him to study hard. I recommended studying hard. Now let's move to the grammar of Unit 11, which is using relative clause. For persons and people we use who and whom, and they equal that. But pay attention, with whom we should use preposition like with whom, to whom, by whom, from whom. For objects we use which, and of course it equals that, but here we can use it for describing a place. Like this is the cafe which opened yesterday, or that opened yesterday. Muhammad is the doctor who treats me. For showing a place, we can use where, but pay attention, we should have an action that we do. For example, I can say, this is the school where I learn my lessons or where I study. To use which equals where, we should use preposition before it, like here, which in, or in which, at which, or which at. For example, this is the hospital in which I work, or this is the hospital where I work. For possessive, we use, of course, whose, and whose comes between noun, two nouns, before it noun and after it noun. Like, this is the woman whose son won the medal. We also pay attention to who is, because this is not whose. We pronounce it whose, but it is who is and who has. For time, we use when. Like January is the month when I finish my school, or I start my school. We can use it with which, but we should use a preposition like in which, at which, or in on which. Like Friday is the day on which I practice tennis. For using action that we do, we can use what. For example, I don't understand what you mean. Also, if we have contrary sentences, we don't use that in it, but we use that with the following words: all that, only that, many that, much that, any that, some that, few that, little that, the best and the most. Here we have some cases that we can remove the relative clause. We can remove it with like who or which or that. For example, we can remove it and put ing to describe the noun, like Ali, who is playing tennis, is my friend. I can say Ali playing tennis is my friend. Also, in passive, we can remove the pronoun and put the past participle, like days, which was written by Taha Hussein, is boring. Days written by Taha Hussein is boring. The man who is called Al-Daifi helps the poor. The man called Al-Daifi helps the poor. We can also remove who or which or whom or that in case there is a subject after them. Like, this is the girl who I called yesterday. Here I is a subject. This is the girl I called yesterday. Important notes. We can use which for places but as description, like this is the house which I bought. But if it shows, as I told you, action, we use where. This is the house where I was born. We should determine the noun that we use the relative clause before it, like here I played the match with my friends, which was exciting. Here which for the noun a match, not friends. I met Ahmed in the street who was very tired. Here we used who for Ahmed, not for the street. We can use whom, which and whose with prepositions, like he didn't ask for whom I had voted. This is the city in which I live. The boy to whose question I replied got the full mark. He said something for which he should apologize. We don't use where, when, and who, and that with prepositions. Before them we don't use prepositions, like this is my friend who I play with. Here we came the preposition after them, not before them. We can use to infinitive instead of the relative clause with the following words: the first, the second, and the last. For example, I was the first person who left the ship. I was the first person to leave the ship. We can use with instead of the relative clause who, have, that have, which have. Like I live in a flat which has 4 rooms. I live in a flat with 4 rooms. Also, we can use whose between two nouns with some verbs that are used as nouns. Like here, play, مسرحية, stay, إقامة, exports, صادرات, likes, أشياء مفضلة, visit, زيارة, and help, مساعدة. I like Adil Imam, whose plays are very famous. The company whose exports are good will receive a prize. We can use that with the following words: all that, much that, many that, few that, every that. But if we use with them of as a preposition, we use, of course, of whom, of which, not of that. I chatted with with 10 girls, all of whom are teenagers. We don't say all of that. No, this is wrong. For the grammar of unit 12, the last unit, using modal verbs for deduction. Of course, we can use them with present and past. For the present deduction, we can use must be, can't be. For might be, maybe, and could be, this shows not sure about something. Like here, he owns a car, a very expensive car, a flat, he must be rich. So here the proof having a very expensive flat. For the negative, we use can't be, like here, or can't infinitive. He owns a very expensive flat, he can't be poor. For showing unconcern, we use I, might, or may, or could plus infinitive. Like I don't know whose book is this. It might be Toaz. I'm not sure. So here, for showing a deduction concerning about the present, we use I am sure, I am certain, I think, I believe, certainly, impossible. All of these equals must and can't. For not being sure, or perhaps, I say I am not sure, I am not certain, perhaps, it is probable, it is possible. For the past, of course, we use must have plus pp, can't have plus pp, might have, may have, could have plus pp. Like here, he succeeded in his exams, he must have studied hard. Or he failed his exams, he can't have studied hard. I couldn't find my wallet, I might have left it at home. Now let's have some examples and exercise about what we have just covered. Number 1, Ali asked he could leave the meeting early or not. So here the answer, Ali asked whether he could leave the meeting early or not. Number 2, the house I live in is very large. The house here which I live in is very large. Why did we use which? Because we have in. Can I say where? No, we said which with preposition. It is a to turn right, don't turn left. So here it is a must to turn right, don't turn left. Number 4, I should have arrived on time. This sentence expresses, of course, it expresses regret. Number 5, If I had written work, I it at once. Here at once shows past simple, so the correct answer will be I would do it at once. Number 6, this is the dentist's. I always have my teeth checked. So here it shows a place. So this is the dentist's where I have my teeth checked. Number 7, set the table, we started the meal. So here it's past participle, so the correct one is having set the table, we started the meal. Number 8, we that Ahmed go in his car. Here we suggested that Ahmed go in his car. Number 9, great novels by Naguib Mahfouz have been made into films. Here we can say, or the correct answer, great novels written by Naguib Mahfouz. There is no need to use relative clause. 10, it is an for all of us to protect the country from any danger. So here it is a must. Number 11, if they found a company of their own, I to work there. So the correct answer, I will apply to work there. Number 12, when did that happen? Oh, it was of course a while ago. 13, the bus left when I had reached the station. That means that I did catch it. 14, on the first day, my teacher what my name was. So in the first day, I told my teacher what my name was. 15, Mo Salah is one of the team has won the cup recently. So the correct answer here, Mo Salah is one of the team which. Here we used which for the team, not for Mo Salah. 16, the players are all very happy the match. So here this is deduction, they must have won the match. 17, if she were a princess, she much happier. So this is showing second conditional. So the correct answer, she would be a princess. 18, Yasser me why I had been to Cairo the day before. So here this is a question Yasser asked me. 19, she recommended that we the next weekend in Alexandria. She recommended that. With that, of course, we said we will use full sentence, so we spend the next weekend in Alexandria. 20, this building is cracked, it or someone may be killed. So here the correct answer, it must be evacuated. 21, when I went to the stadium the match, so I missed the exciting beginning. So the correct answer here, the match had already started. 22, I noise, it didn't bother me. So here the correct answer, I was used to noise. 23, no sooner the crash than we rushed to the spot. So here if we start with no sooner, do you remember we use had, then the subject, then the past participle. So the correct answer, no sooner did we hear the crash. 24, 4. One of my students made noise, annoyed me a lot. So the correct answer here, which, because it's for noise. 25. If you mix yellow and blue, you green. This is zero conditional, so the answer you get. This is Khalid last week. So the correct answer here, this is Khalid whom the car hit last week. 27. He get up early because it was a holiday yesterday, so he slept till late. The correct answer here, he didn't have to get up early. 28. What would you do if you $1 million? So this is showing second conditional. So the correct answer, what would you do if you had $1 million? 29. The injured woman to hospital before she died. So this is passive. The correct answer, the injured woman had been taken to hospital before she died. 30. She said that her mother here with her homework then. So the correct answer, she said that her mother was helping her with her homework then. 31. This shirt is very tight. You too try one. So here I advise you, you ought to, because here we have two. 32. The wheel thousands of years ago. This is showing past passive, so the wheel was invented thousands of years ago. 33. He asked or not we would join the trip to the pyramids. So the answer here, he asked whether or not we would join the trip. 34. This is all I have done. Pay attention, we have all, so of course the correct answer will be this is all that I have done. 35. Your writing is full of mistakes. You it carefully. So the correct answer here, your answer is full of mistakes. You should have checked it carefully. That means regret. 36. I will swim in the sea today. It is windy at the beach. The correct answer here, I will swim in the sea today unless it is windy at the beach. 37. They have tested 300 types of boot. None of is completely waterproof. So the correct answer here, none of, which because we have preposition of. 38. Nobody told me why sign the paper. So the correct answer here, nobody told me why I had to. We change it from question to sentence. 39. She Mona at the door. She is in Cairo. So here she can't be Mona at the door. She is in Cairo. Deduction in negative. 40. It was the first time that I Aswan. It was the first time that I had visited Aswan. 41. If I money, I would have a car. Of course, this is second conditional if, so the correct answer, if I had money, I would have a car. 42. When I reached home, I discovered that my car what had been stolen. 43. Cutting down trees cause much damage to the environment. Damage here is a and, of course here it is a noun. 44. Hassan cut his leg and go to hospital for treatment. So here it's is in the past, so Hassan cut his leg and had to go to hospital for treatment. 45. Had I had a good memory, I his name. So the correct answer here, had I had a good memory, this is third conditional if. So the correct answer, I would have remembered his name. 46. He to sit down until he had apologized. So the correct answer here, he wasn't allowed, because before until we use past simple negative. 47. Ali has just said that he has job. So here we have the word just. So with just we don't change the noun, so the correct answer, he will leave. 48. This is the engineer designs are so wonderful. So the correct answer here, this is the engineer whose, because we have two nouns, engineer and designs. Possessive. 49. He looks very sad, he the race. So the correct answer here, he looks very sad, he can't have won the race. 50. She asked me if I had seen film before. She asked me if I had seen that film before. 51. I had a 10-minute chat with my friend. In this sentence, chat here of course is an, it's a noun. Before we have I had a 10-minute chat, a. 52. Your essay has some mistakes, it again. So the correct answer, it should be revised again. 53. I found the wallet which lost last Sunday. Which what, of course, which had been lost last Monday. 54. The teacher suggested that he exercise again. So the correct answer here, the teacher suggests that we do exercise again. 55. She went to the zoo with her brother, made her happy. The correct answer here, she went to the zoo with her brother, which made her happy, because we used which for the action going to the zoo, not for brother. 56. I explained it, but she have understood. My French is poor. Pay attention to the sentence, my French is poor. So here, this is deduction in the past, but as negative. So the correct answer, she can't have understood. 57. If I had used clothes, I to a charity. So this is third conditional if, and I will say, if I had used clothes, I would donate to it a charity. Why did we say would donate? Because this shows wishing, something I should wish, or I wish to do. 58. You touch that clothes, it is dirty. So I advise you not to do something, so you shouldn't touch that clothes, it is dirty. 59. Unluckily my car yesterday. So the correct answer here, unluckily my car wasn't repaired, passive. 60. If I that app on my phone, it would be easy to find places. So here the correct answer, if I used that app on my phone, it would be easy to find places. 61. I had done my homework assignment, I watched TV. So the correct answer, after. 62. She asked me, I knew that some children had been in the hospital for months. So the correct answer, she asked me whether I knew that some children had been in the hospital for months. 63. I visited my uncle in the new factory he works. So here, in the new factory where he works. 64. I advise my brother not to stay up late. This means he stay up late. So the correct answer here, had better not. 65. Hatem, what if you lost your passport abroad? Kamal, I to our embassy there. So this showing imagination, so the correct answer I would go. 66. Which of the following isn't structurally correct? So we need the wrong sentence. So here the correct answer, of course, if you read all the four, it will be, if I want to pass the exam I would be frustrated. So here how can we use will not with would? 67. As soon as I met my friend I him about the latest news. So the correct answer here, as soon as I met my friend I told him about the latest news. There is no long time between the two actions, so we use the two with past simple. 68. Which of the following doesn't show prohibition? Doesn't show prohibition. So is the correct answer, of course, after we read the four sentences, you needn't buy more bread today. 69. Rana said that she from Sadat city the following week. So the correct answer, Rana says that she was returning from Sadat city the following week. 70. We bought a big saw with we cut up all the wood we have. So here we have with preposition, so of course with which. 71. I nobody until Ali had arrived. So the correct answer here, I met nobody. We said before until, past perfect, past simple negative. Why did we say met? Because here we have nobody. I can't say I didn't meet. 72. A new school in our city last month. So the correct answer, a new school was built last month. 73. Ali was so tired this morning because he, well, so this shows actions. So Ali was so tired this morning because he hadn't slept well. Number 74. The thieves in through the window. The flat is on the 12th floor. So the correct answer, the thieves can't have got because it's on the 12th floor. 75. Luxor is my hometown, has a lot of ancient monuments. This is the correct answer. Luxor, which I describe it, is my hometown. 76. He be French but I am not sure. I am not sure. Of course it will be he might be French. 77. There is a no smoking sign. We smoke here, so this shows prohibition, so we mustn't smoke here. Number 78. If he read a lot on his mobile, his eyes, so the correct answer, he would damage, because this shows imagination, second conditional. 79. I drank some tea, I had eaten lunch. So the correct answer here, I drank some tea before that. Number 80, the last sentence. Ali told me that he had bought his car 3 years. 3 years what? Before. Because it was, or change it from direct into indirect. This was our last sentence, and I hope everything was clear with you. So good luck and have